Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, welcome to a special episode of the Age of Warfare podcast. Because, as you may well know, Christmas is only 5 days away. So we figured, why not we do it's the perfect time. It's the perfect time to do an episode about the history of Christmas. Because why not? Why not we talk about how did Christmas come about? And you know, and all that good stuff. So, yep. So, before we get started, as always, Aiden, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm not doing too bad actually. It's been a very weird week. We've been chatting in the vaccines. We've been chatting. The UK at the moment is got to do the weather thing. Is very mild. It's ridiculously mild. Like Christmas Day is going to be above 0. It's bizarre. We've got high winds on that day. Like we've had a day this week. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. Like it. When I was walking to work was about 4 hours after the rain started, and then I had to wade through floods up a hill that was like wading up a river. So the UK's weather's very weird at the moment. However, I like to stay indoors because I don't work outdoors anymore, so I don't have to worry about that. So I've had quite a good week thinking about how other people are working outdoors and I'm not. But yeah, it's cool, and I've been doing some painting as well. Like talked about last night.
I've seen. Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, also those books so awesome. Those figurines you painted. So as for me, finally got my project done, got my book done, ready to launch January the 6th. The Paint Canards and Rats omnibus, ready to get that out. So January 6th. Now I'm just going to be resting for a bit until the new year, and then I'll go back to work after the new year, after well-deserved rest. Well then, this should be a fun one.
Yes, it will be.
And yes, Nee Edwards. Hey, you bums. Yeah, what's up, bum? Yeah, what's up? Yeah, what's up, Mubney bum? Glad you can join us today. And
to replace my cardboard box, with all that rain.
Yeah, right. And we got a fun. So this is a fun one, because the topic today is how did Christmas come about? The history of Christmas, because the most common thing is, Christmas was pagan. It's the Catholics stealing yet another pagan holiday. But I'm waiting to, but I actually want to go back. Let's double back even further than that, and let's double back to Roman times. Actually, yeah, I know you're thinking Roman times. Yeah, Roman times. We're going back. We're going back a bit, and we got a festival known as you may well know, Saturnalia. Yep. There's
I.O. Saturnalia as well.
Yep, I.O. Saturnalia. Yes. And of course, Saturnalia was the kind of the Roman equivalent to Christmas, which was a festival dedicated to Saturn and the gods, and it ran from December the 17th to December the 23rd according to the Julian calendar. And then, of course, this is where you get to the Julian calendar and the calendar that we use now. Although, ironically, if I'm correct, Aiden, I think the Orthodox Church still uses the Julian calendar.
Yes, they do. There's the famous Battle of Austerlitz in the 1800s, where there were 5 different dates used for it because people had switched over to Gregorian. The French used some weird metric dating system. You had the Julian calendar, and I think there were Turks there as well. So you had the Islamic calendar. So there was loads of different stuff that came in. So it's all over the world. We do stuff by different dates as well. However, no matter what calendar you're using, it's an important part of the year.
Go on.
So it's Oh, I did actually. I just mentioned Islam, and we'll get into that later because that's for a later bit. This because it's a bit earlier, but it was an important part of the year for the Romans, and when they were conquering other people, it was an important part of the year for lots of other people as well. It's so you have the equinoxes throughout the year. So you have the big important ones are the middle of summer and
Yeah.
the middle of winter. And the middle of winter equinox is around the 23rd of December by the Julian calendar. Hence, why that's when Saturnalia ends, is to build up to that. Think of it as like your, God, I hate the term the countdown to Christmas calendar. It's not. It's yeah. It's it bugs me, but
Right. Hmm.
the so you get this period before this build up, and that's been a lot of cultures throughout history. So it was everyone was celebrating something at that point as well, which is why Saturnalia is a thing that was so easily mapped when it came to Christianity,
Right.
which
Hmm.
Angel's about to get into.
Yep. But that's that. But obviously we got this night up here saying what was the festival of Saturnalia. So so let's be fair and let's
Uh,
let's expand on this a little bit. Saturnalia was basically it was a holiday. It started around the Republic era, but at the first century BC, around Augustus's reign to ascension to the emperor, it was extended until the 23rd of December. So it was for the 17th of December to the 23rd of December on the Julian calendar. And basically, you made a sacrifice to the temple of Saturn in the Roman Forum. You had a public banquet, not a private one, a public banquet, followed
that
by
sounds good.
private gift giving, partying, a carnival atmosphere, right? That overturned Roman social norms. Gambling was permitted, and masters provided table service for their slaves, as it was as
Oh,
it was seen as
yeah.
a time of liberty for both slaves and freemen alike. So basically, it was their time to shine. So basically, the elites became the servants for that one particular time period, and gave back to their slaves and the freemen.
So this is really one of the interesting points that then comes forward through to the modern Boxing Day. So Boxing Day is all about it comes from the UK of the posh types and their servants. Um, and obviously on Christmas Day, they had to have the servants there to give them the meal and serve them. And
Mhm.
so on Boxing Day, the
Mhm.
servants would then have their Christmas and they go and see their
Right.
families. So it became a tradition for the nobility to give a box of things for them their servants to take to their families, and this is a very similar ethos. While it wasn't a direct correlation, it's more of a just a way humans think thing. It's very similar to the whole Saturnalia thing, where
Right.
the masters would serve their slaves, that they do a similar thing for them. So what's really interesting about all of these is, yeah, we can draw parallels between these
Right.
holidays, but it's a lot of it, because it's season of goodwill, is just how humans like to help other humans and they want to do something nice. And they keep coming up with the same ideas of how to be nice to people, which is really interesting when you think about it. So I think that's a really nice parallel.
Yeah. It's exactly. Yeah. Because although some people might see that as it's kind of disingenuous because you're supposed to be good the entire year, not just for 7 days. You know,
Yeah.
but you're gonna have those people say that. But Lee says, isn't it really cool that so many different cultures can have a peaceful day. Yeah, but I think that's what it really comes down to, Lee, is that we can talk about you should be able to do this 365 days a year, but it's kind of nice to have just that one day or 1 week of peace where everybody's just cool, man. You just got good vibes, that it'll be nice that it's the week after we just go back to being miserable, brutes and all that. But
one of the interesting things I found is when I went to Thailand about 20 years ago now.
All right.
And there's got a festival called Songkran, which is, if I remember rightly, based around the sun, which is kind of appropriate. But it then maps onto this as well. It's a similar sort of time period around Christmas, and I'm not quite sure when it falls because obviously the calendar's different, but that year it fell very close to Christmas when I was out there. And as Lee says, it's really nice to see that like there's different cultures all seem to have this same. We have a period of the year where everyone is, even if you don't want to be nice, is forced to be nice, right? All of you not nice people,
yeah,
be
right.
nice for a day, all right? At least this one day of the year, possibly for this whole period of the year, if you can really push it. But it's quite interesting to see how mixed it is.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, he says, tired of the killing, the hate of all of it. If you should agree with someone, no need to tear it down. Just yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. You should respect everyone's opinions and respect everyone's ability to celebrate. I mean, even though the history might be, yes, we could talk about the history being mysterious or controversial, or So before we move on, because we're going to get into the interesting stuff, I wanted to bring this up. I just found this. This is a really this is kind of a simplistic historical view of Christmas. So the date of the first Christmas was December 25th, 336 in Rome, right? And then the year of the first.
Genuinely didn't realize it was that long ago. I thought it was a little bit later than that.
Right. So, and the year the first Christmas card was sent, 1611. Christmas was banned in England by the Puritans from 1647 to 1660. Christmas was actually banned by the Puritans.
Right. So I've got to push back against this. Christmas wasn't banned. Celebrating Christmas, how we celebrate Christmas, was banned. Christmas was it was. You see it now with hardcore religious people. Like in the States, you probably see this quite a lot.
Yeah, yep.
It's about Jesus, so you should focus on that. So that's what the Puritans went for. You went to church, you did your church thing, you'd have a meal, but quite often Christian festivals were at that time about austerity of. Like the saints' days, you'd eat like the saints did to remember how they were. So they were trying to make it more religious. So what they banned was all of the things that we think about surrounding Christmas.
Basically, the commercial stuff.
Yeah, the commercial stuff. There, that's a good word.
Yeah, so that's a good little tangent to go on. Yeah, that's a little interest. So thank you for the information. Aiden. Yeah. And I'm sure Nee will find that valuable. So to continue on, the mistletoe was for the year that the year around the 18th century was when we started to associate the mistletoe with Christmas. And then and here's something for the UK. The first time Christmas was a bank holiday in the United Kingdom was 1834.
Our bank holidays. So we often mock the US of being all around its businesses and stuff like that, but our main holidays are called bank holidays because they're the days that the people in the banks got to not work. Therefore, no one else worked because there was no way of doing your banking. So everyone got a it's very, very capitalist, but it's it's a thing.
It's about it's the same idea in the Aiden. Here in the United States, this is called a federal holiday. That's just the main. It's just the difference in Maine.
Oh
By the
yeah,
way,
yeah. We
for the
don't cover up
American,
our capitalism over here. We
by the
just
way,
outright.
for the Americans, the first United States state to recognize Christmas was Alabama in 1836. That was the first United state in the United States to recognize Christmas. 1843 was the year of the first commercial Christmas card. And unlike the UK, it would take the United States close to 40 years later to make it a federal holiday. In 1870 was when Christmas became a federal holiday in the United States.
That really does amaze me as well. When you look at the US now, the US is far more religious than the UK is. And obviously, as we all know, the US started with religion as a strong basis to it. So it surprises me that it's that much later that they did that. I know obviously ours was a commercial thing, not so much a religious thing, but I'd have thought that I'm wondering if it was more that was when it was recognised as and then became a federal holiday because everyone was already doing it through that. But 1870 is really late. That's it. Genuinely surprises me.
And the final fun fact is 1874 was the year the candy cane was first associated with Christmas in 1874. So there you go. Some fun. Some fun. Some fun.
So there's another.
That's an interesting question. Krampus. That's an interesting one. When did Krampus start?
Well, Angel looks this up. I will add another fun fact in here. So the tradition of Christmas trees is started in Norway. Hence why we use the trees we do for Christmas.
Right. The Norway spruce.
And it every year the UK is gifted a tree from that, and it was Queen Victoria's husband that it came from. So it's incredibly late, actually, that it became a thing. And still to this day, there's a bit of a ceremony in London where the tree is delivered from Norway to us over here. And it was a present. I can't remember the basis of it, but it was a thank you for something that we helped them out with during that era. So so that's where your Christmas trees come from.
So I got a little bit of an answer for Krampus. It's not very it's not a very clear answer, but according to the origins, Krampus might have pre-Christian origins. You know, it said that Krampus has pre. Yeah. However, however, historians generally consider this as unlikely, as it was not attested until the 16th century. The 16th century is when people really started to think about Krampus. So that might be where it all started. And in certain traditional parades and in such events as the Krampus one, some young man dressed as Krampus in order to scare their audience with their antics. And by the way, and if he is wondering, this is a German Austrian folklore. This originated in Germany and Central Europe, and today countries like Germany, the Czech Republic, Austria, Croatia, Slovenia, Hungary, Liechtenstein, and Italy all celebrate Krampus. So there you go. So it's kind of a Central European thing.
What's interesting is obviously where the US is so diverse, the areas that have more of a Germanic tradition. And I've seen this on shorts on YouTube, Facebook, and places and such like that, of people doing Krampus events in the US, keeping up with those traditions. And it's Lee's next question, I can answer that off the top of my head. But yeah, Krampus though is when you look at Krampus, it is very much like the traditional drawings of a demon from around those times, which is really interesting that it would be celebrated at that point. I mean, this is about 100 years before everything went a bit wayward, to use polite terms, in Central Europe as well. But this is again, like I said about the US with its quite strong Christian background celebrating Christmas. While it was recognised as a federal holiday quite late, it wouldn't surprise me if this was just a thing that was done and came from folklore, and it was just at that time period that people gave some pushback. Like, no, we are going to celebrate this. So we are going to do this thing. And therefore, the images that we now have, as Angel said, come from that time period. Hence why Krampus looks like Krampus does. And that's where we get this image from. Things as well. Like we all know that Santa Claus was only wearing red because of Coca-Cola. That's why he was always wearing green before Coca-Cola changed it. So,
and so of course you were hinting at Lee's question, and here it is.
yeah.
And what is up with the Yuletide nog? The Yunog.
So this is actually goes back to pagan traditions, and Lee will know about this. As soon as I start talking about it, Lee will know exactly about this. So when it's cold and you make a fire, you want the fire to keep going. So you're going to bring in enough wood for your fire. So traditionally, you when you've got a big fire going, you want to keep it going. You have a big log that you keep pushing into the fire. As the end burns, you keep pushing it so that it keeps going as well. So as you can see in this picture, thank you for putting this up. You wouldn't start a fire with those logs, but you'd start a fire with something smaller, and then you'd build the logs up, and then the heat would start setting them off. So the Yule log was a big log that you know would burn for a long time, and Yule was that midwinter festival. So when it's darkest and not quite coldest, but it was more coldest. Then climate has changed. It's now middle of January, but back then it was closer to the midwinter festival. But it's what I was talking about before about how you get this winter equinox. So Yuletide was based around that. And because it was dark, you'd be inside, you'd need a big fire, you need to keep it going. So you have your biggest log that's there. And it became a tradition that you have a Yule log to do that. These days it's turned into a chocolate treat, but
yes,
the tradition comes from having a physical log on a fire that can burn longer. And it's what I said, as Lee would know from campfires and things like that, you have this big log that you keep pushing in.
I was young when I lived in Germany, but people would bring smaller logs to put in fire. Was that like a version of the Yuletide nog, or what was that?
It well could have been, because these traditions do stay in memory. So obviously, Lee, when you were out there, you were that bit younger. The people you were hanging around with were sort of, I presume, sort of that early 20s age, where you look at your traditions, you're like, well, this is an old tradition. Let's do this old tradition. That's how traditions stay alive, is that people go, oh, well, our community had this one. Let's keep doing this thing. And then you do that thing. But part of it is just that physical. When you have a fire, you just have big logs. I remember my stag do. We had a massive bonfire. And we kept it burning for the entire weekend, and we had literal trees that we could sit on, and then you'd have a couple of us that would push them slightly further into the fire as the ends burnt away. And that is the same thing that's going on. You do that, but at that specific time of the year, you think about it a little bit more. so you remember to do that thing, and
Right.
that's where the tradition aspect comes into it, that this is the thing that we do at this time of year, but it comes from a practical purpose of you. It's midwinter, it's dark outside, you need a big fire, you want to stay warm, and you want to keep that fire going. You don't want to go outside loads, so get the biggest log you can, so you don't have to keep going outside, but you can just keep pushing it into the fire. And that's the basis of it. It's a purely practical basis.
Right. And one more question: do you think the Grinch is a kiddie version of Krampus? It might well
Ooh,
be. That might well be. I mean, that might.
that's a hot take, but actually, it sounds like something that would have been an influence on it. It's like if it wasn't a direct, unconscious at least. Angel, you're reading. Have you found some
Yeah,
information for us?
yeah. I'm trying to see it as a backstory with this because it might just very well be. But I don't. But no. But honest. But as I'm reading, I don't think there is anything to do with Krampus. This might just be Dr. Seuss's idea of making, just a kid-friendly character. But I mean, but I can understand the comparisons. I mean, because the Grinch was, according to the story, the Grinch was bullied, and that's why he became the Grinch, because he was bullied when he was a kid. So he started to hate Christmas.
So interestingly, if you look at Dr. Seuss's background, he comes from that area of Central Europe where Krampus originated. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was in the back of his mind, well, while he was writing it, of the thing of that it's not like a direct influence, but there's an unconscious influence in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, the actual influence came from Ebenezer Scrooge from Charles Dickens's 1843 novel, A Christmas Carol. So that's kind of the actual comparison to Ebenezer.
And the best version of that is still the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yes,
watch every year.
Agreed.
It's so good. It's that how straight he plays it with Muppets. It's amazing. But yeah, a bit of Ebenezer in there.
Krampus takes kids. The Grinch takes presents. When they brought the Nogs, and going back to the Yule Nog, they brought the Nogs to the party, they were wrapped in an oily paper towel.
So again, this goes back to the practical but traditional. The oily paper towel, oil burns at a higher temperature, which creates a higher temperature. And when you've got something larger, you want it to burn with a more intense heat to set it aflame. It's why you don't start a fire with cardboard. You start it with paper, you move to cardboard, and then you move to whatever else that you're burning. This is why pallets go up. It's the oily paper towel. Pallets are treated in a certain way, and they go up quite nicely. But the oil burns off very quickly.
Yes.
As well. So you've got that practical. It's an accelerant for it, but them doing that repeatedly sounds very much more traditional, like a tradition that they're doing. So I'm thinking, Lee, that it's definitely based on the Yule tradition of the Yule log, and it's practical things. Even if it's, as we were saying, even if it's unconscious, you've got these thoughts within your mind. So
and me, a little bit of a funny, like me is a gateway to harder drugs, so the Grinch can lead to Krampus, and that could be very well true. I mean,
yeah. Well, don't steal presents, people. You'll end up buying a darkened apparently.
And by the way, Nee is having some problems. He keeps crashing over there, but that could be a issue with his connection, because that's an issue with you, Nee. Unfortunately, so you just have to keep renoting. If you crash, just keep renoting, and we'll probably be back up. So, And don't be sorry, Lee. We appreciate these questions. I mean, that's what makes the show more fun when we get questions and we can answer them. You know, we're not just another boring show where we're just reading and blah blah. You know, we appreciate these questions and comments. Believe me, it's you know, keep if you got more questions, Lee, keep on going.
It's not a lecture; it's interactive.
There you go. Exactly. This is interactive. Correct. But now I kind of do want to move on to the main subject, which is Christmas. And this is where you start connecting the dots between Christmas and Saturnalia. And now it's going to start to make more sense why I started with Saturnalia. Because Christmas began as a Christmas feast for Jesus' birth, formerly set on December 25th in the 4th century. Notice the key word is formerly. Again, that's fancy for man-made. But its state was, but I'm sorry, Aiden. But I
carry on.
I want to say what I'm going to say. Connection, because the connection is very important here. But the reason why we chose December 25th because its date was chosen to coincide with the Roman winter solstice, Saturnalia, and Germanic pagan midwinter festivals, absorbing traditions like evergreens and feasting, modern customs like Santa Claus and Christmas cards. So December 25th didn't happen by accident. That's not a random day. It actually coincides with Saturnalia and Germanic pagan festivals, which is why I say Christmas is a pagan holiday that the Catholics just what's the word I'm looking for, took for themselves. They you know, so there you go.
There's one of the things that people often forget about the Catholic Church is how early the Catholic Church was and how it started, because the Catholics were essentially the first church. I know you've got the issue of primacy between the Catholics and the Orthodox, but this is where that issue of primacy comes from. So to work it into Roman society, what they'd always done in Roman society, because they brought in other gods. So a good example of this would be Solstice Minerva. So in Celtic religion, it's Solstice. I can't remember which way round it is. That's going to bug me now. But if you go to the baths in Bath, hence why it's called Bath, this is why they're connected. So what the Romans used to do was they used to connect their the pagan religions of other people with theirs at the same time. So when Christianity came about, they did exactly the same thing. It wasn't as bad. So when people say, "Oh, they did it to stamp out pagan religions," it was, yes, some people did, but it was just a thing that they'd always done. They're like, "Oh, this is when people are celebrating. This is now our God, therefore we celebrate." Like Christianity was a new religion. It was just one of many others. And actually, when it started, it was a very small religion. So having that happen at the same time, this is a festival that you then celebrate. That's why it becomes a big thing. This is the Christian version of it. It's just now, because it is taken over, essentially, that's our biggest one, that we think of it in the way we do. But to them, they didn't think about it in that way. They didn't think, this, like, we're going to do this to stamp out these other things. Yeah, the Romans did do that quite a lot. But there was this thing that they always did of have it the same day. So if I remember rightly, Jesus's birth was supposed to be around March. When they've worked it out,
I hear different stories. I hear different stories. So because but here's the thing, though, Aiden, the Bible. Right now, the Bible doesn't mention Jesus' birthday at all. Yeah, I've read the Bible before, and it doesn't mention any dates. So so December 25th is like but I want people to understand that December 25th is not Jesus' birthday, or we don't know that for sure. It was actually a date set to and I can answer these questions. Yeah, dramatic influence did. There was not a dramatic influence into Roman law. Absolutely, that's
I,
absolutely true. That's why Christmas was born. That's why that's how Christmas became what it is. So that's an absolute yes to that question. And then maybe Santa gave the Ninth Legion to English to the English for Christmas.
and then we wasted our present by giving the Ninth Legion to Scotland where they killed them all. It's like some bloody Scots coming in here, get rid of their birthday presents. It's our Jesus birthday present. What have you done with it?
Yeah, and we got Jack Childers watching as well. Hey, Jack.
Oh, hey, say hello, Jack. Come
Yeah,
on,
say
Jack.
hello.
Ask some questions.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. By the way, I'm sorry, Aiden. If you want to ask questions, you're gonna have to click on the original post and post your comments on the original post, so I can see the comments on StreamYard, so I can post them. So a little pro tip for you guys. All right, carry on, Aiden.
So, so this original bit with the Christianity and Jesus' birthday spreading out. It's one of the ways to think about it is so the monarchs in our country have two birthdays. They have their actual birthday, and then they have their official birthday, the one that is celebrated by the country. It's not really celebrated too much, but it's the Queen's birthday when it was the Queen. Obviously, it'd be the King's birthday now. It was a different time of year, and it was set to be somewhere different as well. So this was part of the thinking about having Christmas on the 25th of December, because if you went for March, that's right on top of Easter. So
Yes.
you're having all of your Christian festivals at the same time, and then the rest of the year people will start forgetting about it. When you've got early Christianity, where there is so many Christians, people go, oh yeah, and the Christians did a big thing at this time of year, and then it dies off.
There goes Jack, and there goes a wonderful comment, Christmas. Well, I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion. We're just talking about the origins of Christmas. We're not talking about how we feel about the holiday. You can you're free to feel any way you want to feel. But there you go. Thank you for watching, Jack.
To be fair, I do want to actually talk about this because it is kind of a prevailing opinion now in Western society where it's become so commercialized.
Yes,
We don't think about things, and then when people try to think about the origins of it, they get blasted by the hardcore Christianity side of it. And if you're not a Christian, then it's like, where do you fall within this? And it's the good cheer side. So if you've had multiple bad Christmases and things, so for me, say my birthday, for example,
Jack,
this year, I have my
feisty questions.
All right. I'll get to that one in a second, Jack. So my birthday this year, it was my wife wanted to make it special because I didn't really have a birthday last year. I'm not going to go into it. The guys asking questions and Angel know about the reasons for it, but I basically couldn't have a birthday on my 39th. So it was made special, and that was really nice to it. That people put a bit of effort into, but it's an excuse to have a good time. We always use our birthdays in my friendship group. We always go to the same pub. It's on your birthday. People will just turn up at the pub. You don't even have to tell them. Like, as long as they know when your birthday is, they will be at that pub that evening on your birthday to have a pint. You turn up. You don't even just say to anyone. They'll turn up. And that's the thing it's about being with people. So that's the aspect I think that starts to get lost in all of this.
Yes,
which then goes on to this war on Christmas question. So,
well, neat. And Jack says it's supposed to be 72 degrees on that August day. Yeah, it's going to be a warm one. I mean, it's always warm in Puerto Rico, so I'm not complaining, but it is what it is.
If it was 72 degrees over here, we'd be dead. That's a different
different conversation
units to our metro units.
So anyway, what's this thing about war on Christmas, Aiden? Let's try to get deeper on that.
So we can go right back to this whole Christmas was banned in the UK.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it comes from this idea that Christmas had become too commercial. The reason the Christmas festivities were banned was because of the Puritans. And what they were trying to do was stamp out any mark of historic paganness in there. So we talked about Yule logs. So it was getting rid of things like Yule logs, giving presents. That was a tradition that happened. That was stamped out because it was all about Jesus' birth. That is, we see this from hardcore Christianity in certain places in the US. I'm not picking on the US, there are other places in the world, but online,
Right.
that's where you often see it from.
Yeah.
So
you're not wrong. Even here.
Even
here.
So
yes.
you have that in there of they have this idea that because Christmas is so commercial. So I talked about when I went to Thailand 20 years ago. I actually genuinely felt kind of uncomfortable going into their big shopping. I use the word mall because we also use it over here. Shopping mall, and their Christmas decorations up. They had people wearing Santa hats, greeting people in shops, and in Burger King. Burger King in Thailand is very weird, but it's become it's become very commercial. So I completely understand this pushback against it. Of it's supposed to be a religious festival. Now, one of the things that people bring up, and I said this earlier, that I'll bring up Islam as well. Often is pinned on Islam for this as well. However, what we see from a lot of the outspoken Islamic community and their traditions is they are closer to the Puritans in their mindset of we have our religion, we do things by our religion. What people often forget is while Jesus isn't their person who started that, he is still a prophet for them. They still celebrate Christmas. Christmas is still an important day in the Islamic calendar, so they celebrate it. So this is where you get this pushback from of it's supposed to be a religious festival, but religious festivals have blossomed these days with so many atheists and agnostics around the world that they're not celebrated as religious holidays. They've taken on this new life of this non-religious holiday where things happen. So you have things like Hallmark, for example, Christmas cards.
Right.
So I have a friend who calls Valentine's Day Hallmark Day because Valentine's Day was invented by Hallmark to sell more cards because it was a dead point in their calendar year outside of Christmas.
This is something I could actually kind of agree with. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong with that. In my opinion, you're not wrong with that.
This is the exact point I'm getting to, where I can see exactly where this pushback is coming from. So there is a bit of a war on Christmas, but it's not coming from people. It's coming from that we live in. Let me wave my red flag high here. Late stage capitalism. It's destroying the ethos. It's like Black Friday. It's like people dread Black Friday. That everyone knows the prices are the same as they've always been. It's just a week before they put the prices up so that they're allowed to make it look like they're on offer. Yet people still do that because that's a specific thing. That's a completely secular thing, right? So Black Friday is all a completely secular thing. Black Friday is called Black Friday because that's traditionally the point in the year where a business will go into the black because it has paid off everything, and now everything after that is profits, so they can now reduce their prices because everything they sell is pure profit, which means they can get loads of money in to pay the Christmas bonuses for, well, it used to be the staff, but now it's only the people at the top.
I got my feelings about that as well, believe me.
Like I could, it's like I should have a big red flag when I say these things, but that's completely secular, and that sort of attitude has gone into.
Jack is like Screw this, man. Jack is just like, screw this. I love you, Jack, man. I love you, man. I know you come. I know where you're coming from. I mean, we don't agree on everything, Jack, but I still love you for that. Anyway, yeah. So yeah.
The upshot of it is Lee summed it up quite nicely with greed has killed a lot of the Christmas spirit. I don't think it's killed it all, but obviously when you write a shorter comment, you need to write a whole essay on it. But I do think that's a thing. The commercialization is where we get this pushback from, and where I can see the Christians don't like what's happening to it. And me, as an agnostic, I see that, and I feel for them. It's when your religious holiday gets taken up by a business to become an excuse to sell things, it becomes about that greed. And that's not what it's about. It's actually, Christmas is about the opposite of that. It's like, as we've talked about, Ebenezer Scrooge. The whole point of that story is a guy who was all about his profits all year. And then some ghosts came and talked to him and went, stop being an arsehole, mate. It's like, be nice to people for once. And then that happens. And yeah, so it's a thing. It's definitely is a thing.
And now, Aiden, there was, and now I can understand where Jack is coming from with that, because there is a dark side to Christmas too. The Christmas is now old Johnny boots and Christmas candy and presents. There is a dark side to the Christmas. And that has to do with the Jews, because as you may well know, the Jews do not believe in Jesus, and it's not a Jewish holiday. Christmas celebrates the birth of Jesus, whom Jews do not recognize as the Messiah.
I'm going to stop you right here for the second. Here's a fun, interesting history fact.
All right.
Christianity was not originally called Christianity. It was called the Messianic Jewish sect. So it was a group of Jewish people who believed the Messiah had arrived. So Messianic Jews still exist. Slightly different form. I don't know huge amounts about it. But it was all about, as you say, it was about, has the Messiah arrived or hasn't he arrived? It was that question that came into it as well. So this is a really big thing in Jewish religious law, because law, L-O-R-E, not L-A-W, because it's a split within their religion that created Christianity. So there's a bit of background for you. Carry on, Angel.
No, that's great. And there was a section. They have a show called the Jewish Jesus. Okay.
Well, Jesus could not have been a Christian, because Christian means follower of Christ. If Jesus was Christ, you can't follow yourself very easily now, can you?
Yeah.
Technicalities, people. Technicalities.
Yeah. Right. And it goes back to the Roman era. Just during ancient Roman festivals like Saturnalia, the Jews sometimes faced taunting and forced public humiliation. They were publicly embarrassed. Remember the times when the Romans went to the Middle East and took over the Jewish lands, the Romans.
So this has a term, and it's something blood. It's all to do with this comes into early Catholicism. It's thankfully died out these days, but the basis of it is all about it was the Sanhedrin that sentenced Jesus to death, because they had the choice between Jesus and Barabbas. There's then the debate over Bar Abba means the same as Jesus. We don't need to get that much into theology, but this blame placed upon the Jews for killing the Messiah. But even though the whole point is, if he wasn't dead, he wouldn't have come back and been killed. There's a technical loophole there as well. However, the ethos was Jews killed our Messiah. So this became a thing. So this was also during the medieval period, was quite prominent as well. So you found Jews chucked out of countries during the Black Death and blamed for things because of this. And it was all about the early Catholicism was this traitorship of the Sanhedrin of killing Jesus. And that's where it comes from as well. So it's kind of a sticking point as well. Like I said before about the Messianic Jews, it's like there's so much of this, and we don't often think about it because Judaism is incredibly old. It's one of the oldest religions. I mean, you've got to go back to there's certain types of Buddhism, Hinduism, I think,
Right.
the oldest until you get really early on. But in the West, we're talking Judaism is the oldest one, realistically. So
and of course it didn't stop at Roman times. It went into even medieval times. Christmas was often a dangerous time, marked by violence such as massacres during the First Crusade and anti-Jewish riots and dramatic mans. Even at medieval times, don't forget you had something called the Crusades. So
yeah. And you can watch previous episodes for this.
Yep, you can watch, or you can just play Medieval 2 Total War, the Crusades campaign, which will give you a nice historical idea of what everything meant with that.
And thank you, Angel, because that is the first reference we've done to computer games this episode, and that's quite late for us. We usually deep into computer games.
So and Jack says, I got my Christmas present last time. Yeah, I know. Alabama beat Oklahoma. That was a great game. Yeah, I know. Roll Tide. Yay, go Alabama. Yay. You'll probably get crushed by Ohio State.
About that.
I don't care. I really don't care about Alabama, man. I'm just being.
Yeah. I'm still trying to find a way to watch Carolina Panthers on Christmas Day, because that's when the match is over here.
And here's a fun fact, Aiden. In the Orthodox Christianity, they celebrate the Nativity of Jesus, and it often falls on January the 7th. That's because many Orthodox churches, as we just discussed, follow the Julian calendar, creating a 13-day difference from December 25th to January 7th. And celebrations include a 40-day fast, so they actually have a fast.
Yeah, so that's. I was going to say, certainly, thank you for bringing this up. There's this difference in the Orthodox Church as well, and the fasting goes Ukraine. Right the way back to you think about Lent. It's basically before Christmas. That's what our countdown to Christmas calendars are actually. It's that lead up to it. But I served at altar when I was younger, and damn, changing the church to the correct things, making sure that the priest had the correct colours on his robes and the correct stole and everything like that. There was a whole thing. It was a very important part of the year, obviously. Of course, it's a very important part of the year, Christianity. But there's the colours mean things. When you see priests, vicars, padres, I call them padres generally. It's an RAF thing, which is I bet that's something out there as well, Angel, of considering where the word comes from. I have no idea why it's using RAF, but it's you have this build-up period where you have that. So one of the big things is you have Christingle. I loved Christingle because you could eat all the sweets of the oranges, like fantastic. And you had the little. Did you ever do this, Angel? When you're at church, having to put those little cardboard covers underneath the big candle to stop it getting on the orange?
Yes. Yes. I know what you're talking about.
That's a big thing. You have this whole build-up. So the build-up to that was often fasting originally, and sometimes it's still is part of the culture. So Lent, for example, is one of the few places where it still exists of the fasting in sort of Western Christianity. Whereas in Orthodoxy, you then get essentially a Lent for Christmas. Which, as you said, happens in January as well. So you're about to say about Ukraine. So we get
Ukraine, yeah. They're
we're
big
about
with
to get.
that.
Does that mean we're going to get a Christmas present of a new game out of Ukraine?
No, but there is a hint. But I mentioned Ukraine because that is a hint towards the next episode that I want to do. Will be the first episode of 2026. And I might as well get it out now. The next episode, the first episode of 2026, we'll be talking about the Cossacks. Not just the game, but we're going to be talking about the actual Cossacks. Where did the main Cossacks come from? So keep that in mind. We'll be talking about the.
I have one in here. I have my little tiny models. I have painted one. But keep going. Which one is that?
And Jack says Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I'll die on this hill. Well, I'll be going with you, Jack, because I agree. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I absolutely agree with that. So, no. There you go.
Be a little Cossack.
Little Cossack.
I'll send you some good pictures later.
And Robin agrees. Yeah, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Like I said, I agree that it's a Christmas movie. I know there's a big debate on Facebook whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and we could talk about that later on.
Talk about it now. Devil's advocate here, right?
Okay.
If you took Christmas out of Die Hard, would you still be able to make the film? Now, remember that we have more Die Hards than the first one. We don't talk about some of the other ones, but we have more than one Die Hard. And they're not all about Christmas. It just seems to happen about that. All it requires is a person going to a place and there being an office party. Now, these days, often it's relegated to Christmas parties. I remember years ago, we used to have company anniversary parties. So when you're talking about when the film comes out, when the film came out, it was an argument. These days, I'm completely on your side. Definitely a Christmas film, because you take Christmas out of that, there's no reason for him to be there. Therefore, the film does not take place. Therefore, it becomes a Christmas film. If you're going to say the little psychopath in a house who beats up the burglars is a Christmas film, you're saying Die Hard is there. We all know what film I'm referring to.
Yep.
Keep the change, you filthy animals.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm
side point.
I'm trying to think. Are there any final thoughts about Christmas? We're getting ready to wrap this thing up. So, any final thoughts you might have, Nathan? Say it or forever hold your peace. Go ahead.
So, going back to something I said earlier, Christmas is ultimately a Christian festival. So we respect this Christian festival. Like, you may not enjoy the time of year, but what people don't often enjoy about the time of year is all to do with the commercialization of Christmas, which is essentially what the Christians have an issue with. With this is where you get this pushback from the War of Christmas thing we talked about. So realistically, while we can talk about there's pagan origins and they come into it, it's that time of year, like we talked about earlier. Everyone seems to have this sort of, at least some sort of midwinter festival that falls at the same time. So, Christian or not, if you don't enjoy it, you don't enjoy it. But be happy for people that do enjoy it. Personally, I find it a bit of a nose having to wander around and do loads of things, but watching my son open presents, there's no other feeling than watching your son being excited opening presents, or daughter, or child of any stripe. there's that thing, being with people. You know what I'm looking forward to most this Christmas? The Christmas dinner. So our final question will be from me.
Yep.
Angel,
Yeah.
this is for you to answer. Give me what will be on your plate on Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day, we are going to have smoke. Traditionally, we might do here in Puerto Rico. We might do a smoked what we call pernil, which is a smoked roast pork in the oven. Roast gandules, which is rice and pigeon peas. And pastenes, look it up. It's really delicious Puerto Rican food. Then we also might do eggnog, and then we have something called coquito, which is like our version of eggnog. And you can also make it a non-version, add some rum to it if you really make it alcoholic. And
to be honest, I don't do eggs, so I just drink rum.
Yeah, and we're also gonna have some smoked ribs. We're gonna have some smoked ribs as well. I'm looking forward to that. I bought a big pack of ribs. We're gonna oven roast that, and so yeah.
Super hungry right now.
Yeah,
I definitely think I'm gonna have to do a Puerto Rican Christmas meal at some point because that sounds absolutely amazing. Generally, I just go over to the mother-in-law's house, and mother-in-law cooks a fantastic Christmas dinner every year, which is what we do.
So yeah, I'm excited for the food, the cuisine, and all that, and all that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. And for New Year's, and for New Year's, we might do something similar for New Year's. We might do, at least in my house, we might do something for New Year's. We make a nice, roast pork as well. Here in Puerto Rico is pork. Pork is our
I think I need to move down the street from you because this is my kind of cuisine.
But don't get me wrong, we do eat chicken and beef, but pork is our staple here. Which is why unfortunately we tend to have our health isn't the best out here because we might be eating out of pork and not a red meat. So, well, we might have fun. So,
you get good food out of it. So,
exactly, right?
It's worth it.
I mean, we're all gonna die anyway, so you might as well die happy, right? I'm sure Jack is going to agree with that. I'm sure everyone will agree with that.
So, talking about traditions, my final note. So, my friendship group, we have tradition started, 13 years ago. Me and a couple of friends were out in the pub on the eve of Christmas Eve. Not Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. And we realised that we could have a night out that we didn't spend money, and yet then we could spend the actual New Year's Eve into New Year with our families and doing things, but we could see friends. And it became tradition for us.
Right.
So we're doing it again this year. We call it New Year's Eve, and it's, you just mention it. We know, like I said, with birthdays, we know exactly where we're going, and people will turn up to it because it's a thing. And I'm the last person where I live who's part of that tradition, so I have to go. Being part of that. So I'd like to spread that to other people because often you find that Christmas and New Year people will turn you down to spend time with the families, which is pretty hard on people who don't have their families around.
Right.
But I know this from my brother. I haven't spent a Christmas with my brother for many years, mainly because he goes up to stay with my mum. He doesn't particularly get along with our nan, but that's what my mum does. It's spending time with family. It's glossing over that. All right, cool. We don't really get on, but we want to spend time with you because we do actually care about you, type of thing.
Yes.
So he goes and does that. So we, in our friendship group, decided that we want to do that, but we also want to spend time with our friends. So we've done this New Year's Eve thing. So I'd like to spread that message out that I know it's a bit late for Christmas now to organise those things, but if you're a single person who's looking at spending Christmas alone, there aren't people around, have a look at something like that. Have a look at getting with your friends the day before, and just spending time, because the prices will be the same as they always would when you go out. You get to spend some time with your friends, and yeah, you're celebrating at a slightly different time. But as we said, Christmas comes at different times for different people as well. It's like the Orthodox, January. Us, it's December. So please do that. Please spend time with people.
Yes.
And the darker point is, if you are feeling lonely, reach out, please, people.
Yes, please.
It's a time of year that's very hard on people.
On a serious note, guys,
yeah.
It's okay. It's okay not to be okay. It's really not. It's really okay, guys. It's And on that note, listen. This is I'm not going to say bye right away, because this is the final episode of 2025. We're not going to be live next week. Obviously, we'll go every 2 weeks. So our next episode will be January the 3rd, right after New Year's. We'll be talking about the Cossacks. But on a serious note, guys, this is episode number 44, guys. Dungeon Dan. Thank you for showing up. You probably came a little late, but you're just in time to hear me say, guys, thank you so much. You guys have been wonderful this year. We're 44 episodes in. That's a big number for us. 6 more to the big 50. We got something really cool planned for you guys on the 50th episode. So please come on.
We've been talking about all sorts of things for this 50th episode. Yeah. We've been throwing around so many ideas. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
So I mean, it's been a wonderful year, guys. Been here the whole time. Okay, so you've met Jack. So you've met Jack and Lee take all the bullets today.
Yeah. Nice. Dungeon Dan's been a lurker today. That's right. For Dungeon Dan
today. All right, cool strategy. I like that. But guys, I mean, really, thank you for this wonderful year, man. 2025 was a blast for me. Publishing wise as well, I had one of my best publishing years as well. This show keeps getting better and better. Me and Aiden, we don't really have a script. This is all unscripted. In case you guys want to know, 100% unscripted. We just do. We just pick topics. We do a little research, and we talk about it. But because we don't like having scripts, because it just doesn't feel genuine for me, and in my opinion, at least.
As close as we get to scripted would be, we know what we're doing on the episode, so we'll have a Wikipedia page up so that we get our dates right. That's basically as close as we get to scripted. It's just we fact check ourselves as we're going as well. But freeform. It's all about the freeform.
Yes, lying is a sin. Yes, Nee. But guys, thank you very much. So whatever you celebrate, Christmas, you don't celebrate, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas, whatever you guys are planning to do. I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year. I hope 2026 is a wonderful year for all of you. We're gonna kick some serious booty next year. Got that 50th special. Dungeon Dan is in the house. Yes, unscripted. Yep, we love unscripted stuff. Yeah, we're 2026 is gonna be even better. We got all kinds of topics planned for you guys, and really, so thank you for coming, guys, from the bottom of our hearts, and have a so happy holidays, happy New Year, and we are going to see you in 2026 on January the 3rd.
Can I just interject a little bit there?
Go ahead.
Really want to thank everyone who's turned up this year, asked us questions, kept us going, because I had a pretty hard start to this year after the end of my last year, and I just always look forward to doing this. Well, so thank you to Angel as well, because he kept me going, but you guys have as well. So
yep. Thank you, Nee, for the wonderful
please,
words.
Please keep going and come in here. And I promise that in 2026 I will release a novel. There we are. You heard it here first.
Yeah, we're waiting for that book, Mr. Aiden.
Yeah. And Angel will kick me up the arse until that's written. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And Nee, and we've been talking with Nee to doing a show or something like that. So be on the lookout for that. We love having Nee on the with us. I mean, Nee is a wonderful guy of good information as well. So don't think you forgot about your Nee. We're gonna get all and I hope that Nee can make it to the 50th episode. We could do something with Nee as well on episode number 50. So yeah,
I've been working on him. I'm trying to get him in
there. Even Jack too, man. Even Jack as well, man.
Get back to the Jack moderator days as well. Like, get some old school
in there. Even if it's just for one show, yeah. But seriously, guys, that's what we're gonna wrap this thing up. Thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you in 2026. Until then, this has been Saturnalia Angelus Maximus. That is my man, the gay Aiden Cordier, and we'll hold you to that, me. And this has been the last episode of the Age of Warfield podcast for 2025. See you next year, guys. Until then, that's right.
I got it first.
All right, guys, take it easy. Bye bye.
All right.